During a family celebration dinner, my cousin roared, "She's the family optimist, not the family CEO." Everyone roared with laughter as I sipped my wine. Over 10 years, I patiently built my own empire, letting him think I was still beneath him. When his company tanked and he showed up at my office begging for a job, I let him wait in the lobby for hours, before having security escort him off the premises. 10 years ago, I was humiliated at a family dinner in Charleston, South Carolina, a dinner I still think about when I go to bed at night. It was one of those big events where everyone pretends to love each other, while secretly keeping score. My grandma turned 80 that weekend. We all met up at this fancy Italian place called Treviso's downtown. Everyone was there, every uncle, aunt, cousin, second cousin, and people who barely even shared our blood. It was supposed to be a celebration. But for me, it turned into the night I buried a part of myself, the part that used to crave their approval. Let me tell you about my cousin Eric. He was that guy, the one everyone compared me to growing up. Went to a top school, wore suits by age 22, had an apartment in a high-rise by 24, and loved to remind people he made more money than our entire block. His dad, my Uncle Ron, treated Eric like he'd been chosen by God to save our family from working-class mediocrity. I had just launched a tiny online store that year. Handmade home goods. I designed most of it myself, worked nights and weekends, and sold out of my living room. I was broke, tired, and proud as hell. That night, one of my younger cousins stood up with a glass of champagne and said something like, "Let's toast him for starting her own business." I barely had time to nod before Eric shouted over the table, "She's the family optimist, not the family CEO." The whole room cracked up. Even the waiter gave a crooked smile. And me? I just sipped my wine looking right at him. I didn't say a word. But something changed in me that night. Something cold settled in. Not hate, not even anger. Just focus. Pure, steady focus. The next decade was not glamorous. It was hard. I made mistakes. I shipped orders myself. I begged suppliers to give me net 30 deals. I pulled 18-hour days. I cried more than I slept. But I didn't quit. Every time I wanted to stop, I remembered that dinner. I remembered the way Eric looked at me like I was a cute little kid playing pretend, like I didn't belong. By year 3, I turned a real profit. By year 5, I had a team of 10. By year 7, I was doing 7 figures a year in gross sales, had contracts with big box retailers, and started opening regional warehouses. By year 9, I was speaking at trade shows. I never told my family how well things were going. I let them think I was still running my little shop. Meanwhile, Eric's startup was all smoke and mirrors. He had a digital marketing company out of Atlanta, always posting motivational videos and power brunch selfies on Instagram. But I knew people in the same space, and they told me privately that he was overpromising, under-delivering, and burning through his investor cash like it was monopoly money. By the end of 2023, he was done. The company folded. Investors pulled out. Lawsuits started flying. And that's when he showed up. I was in my office reviewing Q1 projections when my receptionist pinged me. "Hey, there's a guy down here. Says his name's Eric. Says he's your cousin." I felt my blood freeze for just a second. Then I smiled. "Tell him I'm in meetings. Have him wait." And I left him there. For 4 hours. I watched him on our security feed. He didn't recognize the logo on the glass doors. He didn't realize this company, my company, was mine. He just sat there on the gray couch in the lobby, wearing a crumpled blazer, eyes glued to his phone, waiting to be rescued. After the 4th hour, I called security. "I want him gone," I said. When they approached, I finally stepped into the hallway and looked down at him. He saw me and stood up fast, surprised. "You're the CEO?" he asked. I didn't answer. "I just wanted to talk," he said, holding out his hand. "I'm in a rough place. Just thought maybe you'd have something. Anything." I stared at him, then turned to security. "Escort him out. He's not welcome here." He laughed, nervous like it was a joke. "You're serious," he said. I didn't say a thing. I just walked back upstairs, heels clicking on the tile, his voice trailing behind me. "You're seriously throwing me out?" Damn right I was. You don't get to mock someone for dreaming, then come crawling back when you've burned your own empire down. He got exactly what he gave me. 10 years late but right on time. After Eric got thrown out of my office, I figured that was it. Done. Closed chapter. I even slept better that week. But I should have known better. People like Eric don't take a loss quietly. 2 weeks later, I got a call from my mother. Did you really kick Eric out of your building? Her voice was low, like she was afraid someone might hear. Yeah, I said blunt. I did. Well, he called Uncle Ron crying. Said he was humiliated. Said you treated him like a criminal. I didn't answer. My mom sighed. I know he's a jerk. I know what he did back then. But you're not the same girl anymore. Maybe you could have been the bigger person. I let that hang for a second. I almost explained it to her what it felt like to be laughed at in front of everyone, to be dismissed like a joke. But what was the point? I just said, I'm not going to apologize. After that, things got weird. I noticed fake reviews popping up on my website. 1-star ratings. Claims of faulty products that didn't match any real orders. A couple of my wholesale partners got anonymous emails claiming my company was under investigation. One even forwarded it to me. Don't worry, the partner wrote. I trust you. Just thought you should see this. The email was fake, poorly written, but the intention was clear. It had Eric's stink all over it. He was trying to ruin me. I didn't go to war publicly. I didn't post about it. I didn't warn the family. I didn't threaten him. I started documenting everything. I hired a private investigator, someone I'd worked with before on a supplier dispute, and told him to trace the IPs, the email origins, anything he could link back to Eric. While he worked on that, I called a lawyer and started prepping for defamation claims. I wasn't going to sit back while some burned-out startup clown tried to wreck the thing I bled for. And in the middle of all this, he had the nerve to show up at a family funeral. Our Uncle Pete passed suddenly. Heart attack. It was fast, tragic, and honestly one of the few family members I really liked. The service was small, held at a church just outside Somerville. I didn't expect Eric to show, but of course he did. He came in halfway through, sat in the back, and didn't even take off his sunglasses. After the service, he made his way to me outside, right by the parking lot. I want to talk, he said, voice tight. I don't. I'm serious. You've made your point. You win. But you don't get to destroy me. I didn't destroy you, I said. You did that all by yourself. He looked around like he expected someone to step in. Like a referee was going to blow a whistle and call a foul on me. You want to sue me? I asked. Go ahead. But I've got everything ready, every fake review, every email, every lie you sent out. I'll bury you legally if you try it. He looked like he wanted to hit me. His jaw clenched. His fists balled. But he didn't move. Then he leaned in quiet. You think you've won? Just wait. You've got enemies now. That's when I smiled. Good. Let them come. About a month after the funeral, I thought maybe things were calming down. Sales were steady, we signed a deal with a chain of boutique stores across the Southeast, and I even took a weekend off, the first in months. That Monday morning, I walked into the office to find my head of HR already waiting at my door. You're gonna want to see this, she said. She handed me a printed email, a complaint filed anonymously to a labor board. It accused my company of creating a hostile work environment, claiming we forced overtime without pay and discriminated in our hiring. My stomach dropped. It was all fake. Every word. But now it was official. I looked at my HR lead. She didn't even need to say it. We both knew where it came from. Eric. This wasn't just personal now. It was strategic. He was trying to sabotage my reputation at the state level, maybe even federally, get enough noise made, and it would slow down every contract I was trying to close. He wanted to ruin me from the inside out. But what he didn't know was I'd already started digging into his mess. My investigator got back to me with more than I expected. Eric hadn't just been sloppy with fake emails. He'd left digital fingerprints on burner accounts used to leave the 1-star reviews. A few of those emails traced directly to an IP registered at his last known address in Atlanta. But here's where it got dark. Apparently, after his company folded, Eric had taken out a private loan to try and reboot another venture, a crypto-related app that never launched. He borrowed over $250,000 from a group that operates on the edge of legality. Let's just say they don't send invoices. They send messages. And he hadn't paid them back. The investigator even found a police report Eric filed claiming someone vandalized his car. Windows smashed, tires slashed. The cops didn't follow up, but the timing matched the missed payments. So now not only was Eric desperate, he was in real danger. Financial, maybe physical. And here's the part that almost made me laugh. He was trying to destroy my business to make himself look like a victim, maybe even use it to get sympathy or a settlement if I ever sued him. That's when I made my move. I called my lawyer and told him I was ready. We filed a cease and desist letter tied to all the fake accounts, fake reviews, and anonymous reports. We also made it clear that if he continued, we'd sue for defamation, lost revenue, and emotional distress. And if it went to court, we'd name him and those shady loan guys in the discovery process. 2 days after that letter landed, Eric called me. He sounded broken. Voice cracked, slow, like he hadn't slept. "Can we meet?" he asked.
No.
"Please. Just 5 minutes. In public." I paused. I didn't trust him. But something about the way he said it. I agreed to meet him at a diner near the outskirts of Charleston. Public enough that he couldn't try anything stupid. He showed up looking like he'd been hit by a train. Eyes sunken, beard patchy, shirt wrinkled. He sat across from me like a ghost. "I made mistakes," he said. "I was proud. I was stupid. But you're killing me." "No," I said. "You're killing yourself." He looked up at me, his eyes full of something I hadn't seen before. "Fear. They're going to come after me," he whispered. "I borrowed money. I thought I'd flip it fast. But the app flopped. I need time. I need space." "Not my problem," I said. "Just help me disappear for a while." I leaned in. "You want help disappearing? You should have thought about that before you started trying to take me down." He opened his mouth like he was going to beg, but I was already getting up. "I've already given you more than you deserve," I said. "The only reason you're not in court is because I'm too busy making real money to waste it on you." Then I walked out. After that last meeting at the diner, I thought Eric might finally back off. But instead, things went quiet. Too quiet. For weeks, no more fake reviews. No anonymous reports. Nothing. I thought maybe the lawsuit threat scared him straight. Turns out I was wrong. He was planning something bigger. It started with a warehouse fire. One of our secondary facilities outside Columbia, South Carolina, went up in flames overnight. Arson. They didn't find any clear evidence, but the fire marshal said it was no accident. My gut told me who was behind it. Then came the hacked emails. Internal company files were leaked, not sensitive stuff, but enough to make it look like we were shady. Some got posted online, taken out of context. Few blogs picked it up. My name got dragged through the mud. At the same time, the investors I'd been courting for our next round of expansion suddenly ghosted me. Just dropped off the face of the earth. Eric wasn't trying to sue me. He was trying to destroy everything from behind the curtain. And it almost worked. For the first time in years, I felt panic. I was losing money, reputation, time, everything. I had to fight back harder. I pulled every legal trigger I had. My PI helped dig up more Eric's financial records, his loan defaults, even a restraining order filed by an old girlfriend for harassment. My lawyer compiled it all into one big nasty packet. We sent it to the press. First, nothing happened. Then one day, a mid-sized business blog ran the story under the headline, "Startup Star or Conman? The Fall of Eric L." And that was it. The floodgates opened. More stories came out. More victims stepped forward. Past employees, old investors, even some of his old college friends. Turns out Eric had been lying for years. Faking numbers. Bragging about money he didn't have. One woman came forward saying he borrowed $20,000 from her under the promise of partnership, then ghosted her. He was done. And I didn't lift a finger after that. The world did the rest. 6 months later, Eric filed for bankruptcy. I heard through family he was living in a friend's garage, doing DoorDash to pay rent. His car got repossessed. And those loan sharks? Nobody knows where they are. But Eric posted a photo with a black eye not long after, then deleted it. I haven't spoken to him since. But here's the twist I didn't see coming. The whole battle, the lawsuits, the stress, the fire, it changed me too. I don't trust people the way I used to. I keep my staff at a distance. I haven't taken a real vacation in over a year. And sometimes I wonder if I went too far. Because even though I won, I don't feel good about it. There was a time when all I wanted was to be respected, to be seen. Now I've got it, and it's lonely as hell. I built my empire. I crushed the man who laughed at me. But I lost something along the way, maybe the last piece of myself that believed in second chances. Still, if I could do it all again, I'd let him rot in that lobby twice as long. Some people only learn when it's too late. And some wounds never heal, they just teach you how to survive.